What's up, YouTube? This is Mathwas97, and welcome to episode number 24 of my SmackDown vs. Raw 2006 General Manager mode here for the August 30th edition of Friday Night SmackDown, coming to you from Germany. So, Guten Tag. I hope you're all having a nice day for any German viewers, except I just randomly broke German to English. I took 1 year of German in middle school. So, my German's not that great. So, yeah, that's that. Anywho, that was a, bad intro. But, you know, sometimes you gotta have those bad, like, comedically bad intros. Just makes things... I have no idea where I'm going with this. Anywho, so last episode, I got cut off in the middle of a commentary that I was making. About halfway through, for some reason, it was just like, hey, bye. And then it just cut out. I didn't even notice it until I was done, because I didn't even check the thing, which I should have been doing. But anywho, I wanted to... The only reason I bring that up is because there was a topic I was discussing that I didn't really get to finish in my redub of the commentary because I ran out of time. But last episode I was talking about backstage brawls and how that would be cool to have in WWE 2K16, because... what I had said in my original, like, second half of that commentary was if I had edited my Universe Mode videos more heavily, you know, like I do now, like episode 59. Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen that episode, but when Roman Reigns comes down to the ring and saves CM Punk. That's more of, like, the intricate, hands-on, like, more heavier sort of edits, like the more detailed stuff that I'm talking about. And if I had done that in 2K14, because, you know, 2K14 I relied more on cutscenes and whatnot. But with the backstage brawl, that, if I had only, like, edited things more intricately back then, which I'm not, you know, I'm not a person who has, like, many regrets. It's like, oh, if I could have gone back and done this, I would have done this differently, and this differently, and that, and this, and that. I wish I hadn't done this. Granted, there are a couple things where it's like, yeah, I mean, it would be nice to kind of go back and not do that, or do this differently, but ultimately, I can't go back and change it, so I don't dwell on it too much, because it's like, you know, it happened, I learned from it. I mean, you make mistakes, you learn from them. It's not something, you know, people can be like, oh, I made this mistake, and I wish I could go back and do that. If I could go over and do it, if I could do it over again, I would. I don't know, I'm not too much of a person like that. I mean, if it's a mistake I made, true, even if I want to go back and, like, redo it, I don't get too obsessed about it, because... ultimately, I can't do anything about that until somebody invents time travel and has a way to go back to the past. Even then, I probably wouldn't. Unless I make some, like, catastrophic mistake that, like, ruins my life. Which, knock on wood, I haven't done anything like that thus far. And if you heard that in the background, that was me knocking on wood. Haven't done anything like that thus far, and hopefully never do. That would be nice. But, I don't know, that wasn't even where I was trying to go. I just broke off from a tangent on my tangent. But as I was saying, you know, if I'd done more, like, heavily intricate edits back in 2K14, what would have been cool is, you know, I could have had people, like, run up the ramp, and then, you know, like, cuts to the crowd for a little bit, and then, boom, they're backstage, and there's a brawl going on. That would be really cool, and I could possibly do that if they brought back the backstage brawls. But, unfortunately, at the time, currently, I have no idea what things are, like, planned for 2K16, other than the fact that, Arnold Schwarzenegger is the... That wasn't even a good impersonation, but then again, I wasn't trying that hard. But yeah, good old Arnie, the Terminator, is gonna be in 2K16. I don't know if that's just, like, a last-minute replacement for Hogan, or what's up with that, but if that was actually their genuine idea, I mean, not to say it's like, oh, they must have replaced Hogan, that must be it. I mean, I don't know, could be, but then again, it might not be. Maybe it's just a bad idea they had from the beginning. I'm not saying, well, it's not necessarily a bad idea, that's just my personal opinion of it, because I can't see myself playing as the Terminator. I just don't know what it would be for. Unless I wanted to have another jobber, but then it's like he's not even a wrestler, so what could I don't know. I don't know, but, you know, that's just not for me. Other people, I'm sure, are super excited about the Terminator being in the game, and that's cool for them. I hope they enjoy it. I just personally am not too thrilled. But nonetheless, at least this way, for people who can't pre-order the game, they're not really missing out on much, which, in that sense, I guess it's kind of cool, because, you know, last year, it was Sting. Sting was the pre-order bonus, and that was huge. If you couldn't get Sting until, like, January, when they put it up for open DLC, that sucks, because Sting is, you know, awesome. And if you weren't able to pre-order it, then you couldn't play as him until, like, January, and that's kind of unfortunate. But at least this year, you know, it's not as huge of a deal as Sting. But yeah, that was sort of I broke off from another tangent of my tangent. That's what happens in these types of series. You know, I can't always talk about the gameplay, because the gameplay isn't as fluid as the newer games, and it's not as compelling because it doesn't have all the good storylines and stuff that I put into it, and I'm not as invested because it's not my own personal work. No, I'm just kidding. GM mode is super fun to do, otherwise I wouldn't be doing it. As Kurt Angle, always caught by the throat. Look at Big Show, choke slam to Kurt Angle, and that's gotta be it. Cover here, 2 count. Good night, Kurt Angle. Big Show picks up the victory over Kurt Angle, which I would have to say, not exactly what I was expecting. But Big Show, nonetheless, he picks up a big victory. Definitely a victory he needs, especially after Kane and Big Show lost the tag team titles. They just have kind of been like, since they lost the titles. So a victory like that, if he can keep picking up those victories, could definitely do a lot to get his career back on track. And it looks like my audio is still good to this point. And of course, when something like that happens, I feel like I get a little too over-paranoid that something's going to happen and take up too much time in the commentary. So I do apologize for, you know, that minor interruption. But we're going to move on to the main event of this episode now. As you can see, the WWE Tag Team Championships will be on the line, as we're finally gonna get the British Bulldog to shut his mouth about a title shot, because he has been very greedy. No, I'm just kidding. That's just the game mechanics. So the game mechanics are making it kind of difficult. They are making the British Bulldog be a greedy little punk who always wants title shots, even though he just kind of debuted to the roster. But nonetheless, we are going to deal with that problem, and we are going to give him the title shot that he's been craving, as we also kind of build more towards the rivalry that we have. Hopefully building up to No Mercy between Batista and Eddie, and Bret Hart and the British Bulldog. Well, it's more like the Eddie Guerrero British Bulldog rivalry, but you know what I mean. I feel like looking for an actual tag team rivalry, like, obviously not in this game, because that's impossible. You can't have a 2-on-2 rivalry because they weren't ready for that yet, and there weren't even, like, the storylines behind it. It's just kind of you two face off and you're a rival now. But, you know, in, like, the 07-08 where you can actually book storylines, I'm not as interested in, like, the tag team feuds. Like, you know, you can have a tag team feud, that's cool, have something to go for the titles, but when it's actually like a 2-on-2 rivalry, I feel like that's very limiting. You can only do so much with that. Like, you can have, I guess, like, a fatal 4-way, a tag team match, a 6-man tag team, and a one-on-one with both managers there. That's about it. There aren't too many options you can do with a rivalry like that. So I normally just try to break it off into a one-on-one rivalry. So then that way, like, you have a bit more options as to what you can work with. And that's typically what I try to do for the tag team rivalries. That's just my personal way of dealing with things. So look at the British Bulldog. Oh, military press power slam. As now he's just delivering a couple of right hands to the side of the head of Batista. Not a couple. I clearly can't count. That was clearly 4. And Bret Hart and Eddie going at it. British Bulldog and Batista going at it right now. And of course, this is a Tornado Tag Team matchup, which is far easier and far more interesting to actually use for a showcased match, because if it's a regular tag team matchup, then the partners are always getting involved in trying to break things up, and that's never fun. I'm talking about you, WWE 2K15, and 2K14, and WWE 13, and WWE 12, and basically every game that has tag team matches. Has there ever been a game where there have been good tag team match mechanics? I'm not sure. I only started playing back in 06, actually. And, you know, it was always sort of the same. In 09, they kind of, like, revamped the tag team stuff. Like, they brought in the hot tag and, like, certain tag team moves. But they didn't, I mean, they didn't really, like, completely, like, do everything over. And, I don't know, just, now that I'm thinking about it, like, I talk about 09, the big big change they made was the tag team mechanics. And then 2011, the big change they made was the ladder mechanics. And then they kind of took those away in WWE 12, I believe. Or at least by 13, it was gone. Like, people could fall on the apron. They could kind of get, like, hung up like a low blow. They could fall on their arm. They could fall over the top rope. I mean, then it seems like they kind of took that away. Like, now if you fall, you either fall in the ring, you fall out of the ring, and that's it. There isn't really too much that can happen with it. Whereas, you know, in 2011, you could, like, get all caught up in the ropes. You could fall in the ring, outside the ring, and, you know, at least you could get kind of, like, hung up in the ropes, which I always thought was cool. But nonetheless, I am going on more tangents, because that's just the kind of mood I'm in today. I'm in a tangent mood. I can't really focus on these GM mode matches, and I do apologize for that, but hey, you're here. If you're still watching the video at this point, you clearly don't care, because you just like hearing my voice, or my commentary is engaging. I don't know. I don't know exactly why you're still here, but whatever it is, thank you for sticking it out to this point. Let's look at Bret Hart. Pile driver! Pile driver to Batista. And we could be looking at new tag team champions right here. Eddie and the Bulldog are distracted on the outside. Batista kicks out before even a count of one. Off a pile driver. Yeah, that happened. That's a thing. Okay. Cool. Glad we're all on the same page. And look at Eddie Guerrero. Oh, just catapulting himself over the top rope, landing across the chest of Bret Hart. As Eddie and the British Bulldog going back at it. Bret Hart and Batista battling it out. Oh, look at this. Bret Hart now. The sharpshooter. The pile driver couldn't put him away. How about the sharpshooter? Well, Eddie Guerrero just took out the referee and then dropped an elbow on him, so Batista, he's not, even if he does tap out, there isn't going to be an end to this matchup from that, because the ref got taken out. And oh, look at this. Eddie, he's looking to do some lying, some cheating, some stealing, or at the very least, he's looking to do some cheating here tonight, as the ref is down. Eddie's got a steel chair, but he can't seem to hit anybody with it, unfortunately, as now the British Bulldog has disarmed Eddie Guerrero, as the steel chair is out of his hands. And look at this. Bret Hart and Eddie, they're in a bit of a lockup here. Oh, as Bret Hart sweeps out the legs now. Nice exchange there between Bret and Guerrero, as now he drops an elbow across the face. British Bulldog caught up in a submission hold, but it's broken up by Bret Hart. As now, well, the British Bulldog, that's definitely a miscommunication, as he just accidentally took out the ref now, too. So he takes out his tag team partner and then takes out the referee. Man, well, Eddie, he's going to get another chance to try to cheat in this matchup, to do some of that lying, cheat, and stealing that he's known for, that he's just for. As he connected with a steel chair to the skull of Bret. Now 1 to the British Bulldog. And that's going to set Bulldog up here as Guerrero locks in the lasso from El Paso. And the British Bulldog could be about to tap out here. No, he actually escaped that fairly quickly. Was not expecting that. But the match continues, as Eddie Guerrero now blocks a punch, the attempted punch from Bret Hart. And, well, I thought we were going to get a bit of an exchange between opponents, but it looks as though the British Bulldog and Guerrero are going to continue to go at it, and the same can be said for Bret Hart and Batista. Look at this, a roll-up here from Guerrero on the Bulldog. The referee too busy shouting into space, and the Bulldog kicks out. What perhaps could have been a 3 count was not, because the referee was having a shouting match with the crowd. Fun stuff. Oh, look at this! Bulldog with a huge power slam, but Batista just nearly beheaded the British Bulldog with that vicious clothesline. And, well, that's going to give Eddie some time to recover. The Bulldog goes for the cover, hooks the leg, and the referee just gets knocked out because Bret Hart kicked him in the back. Oh, my God. Oh, this match is a riot. Oh, that was great. Great work, Bret. Good job. The excellence of execution. I can't even. I'm just like so far gone now at this point. I'm just like, I've completely lost my way. I've lost my train of thought with everything. Good job, Bret. This is what you do. This is what you do when you botch things that badly. That was funny. But as we can see, Eddie Guerrero took a little bit of time to recover. Batista gets tossed over there. He's running out of stamina. Bret Hart's running out of stamina, but it's okay because the match is over. Oh my God. Oh, that was such a weird match. But as we can see, Eddie Guerrero, in an exciting match, retains the Tag Team Championships. Mankind has now joined the free agency, and Raw wins again in the ratings battle, probably with their same old stuff. As they get a 3.5 star, let's see. Battle Royal, is it an Iron Man? It is. Another Iron Man match. Woohoo. That combination never fails. Battle Royal, Iron Man, rinse, repeat. Week after week after week. Alright, as we can see, we got a 4-star main event from that tag team matchup, so that worked out. Only a 3-star match overall in the show, so that's a bit unfortunate. But as we can see, Taz is telling us about interfering with other shows. I mean, we did that a while back, but I feel like if we've got enough of a lead where we don't have to use the underhanded tactics at the moment, but if Raw keeps this up and they keep beating us in the ratings, we might have to, just to kind of give ourselves the edge a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and extend the contracts we need to. I'm going to keep Chavo and Carlito around, although their popularity is plummeting, as I've been using them as jobbers. Sylvain Grenier, he's going to be gone after the next week. And a lot of people want title shots. Although Triple H, he just wants a new contract. I can dig that. Triple H, he's done enough for us here on the show. I mean, he's our World Heavyweight Champion, for crying out loud. He's our most valuable commodity. We have to protect him at all costs. So, even if that means sacrificing a little bit of cash, I mean, I think it's worth the risk. It's not too much of a hit. So as we can see, Triple H, we've got him for 22 weeks. That's not bad. Not bad at all. And I think it's about time that, I mean, we're obviously going to lose Sylvain Grenier, but I think this is about the time where I'm looking to trade somebody out. Try to spice up the roster a little bit. And one of the guys I'm looking to possibly get rid of is Andre the Giant. Because, I mean, granted, he's only in this game. He's not in 07, so I wouldn't use him there. But there's kind of a good reason. To be fair, he's more of a slower pace kind of a match. Because, you know, he's this big, powerful dude. Not the most exciting guy to watch. And he's got a lot of popularity, so I could trade him and, like, a Chavo Guerrero and pick up two, you know, like, guys in the 70s or so. Two kind of, like, average superstars who are, you know, good to use. But that's it for this episode. I want to thank you all for watching, and until next time, as always, keep on YouTubing.